Hey, coaches. Coach Gumby here from the Arvada Outlaws in beautiful Colorado. I'm here today to talk about legal formations and eligible receivers, which seems to be a bit of a confusing topic in youth football. First things first, legal formation. You have got to have at least 7 men on the line of scrimmage. That's the helmet even or forward of the snapper's hips and not in the neutral zone. You can have more linemen if you want, with a caveat. And all backs in the backfield must not be forward of the snapper's hips, and they are all eligible. They're noted in green. Only the 2 linemen on the ends of the line are eligible. The scope of this presentation is NFHS 11-man rules only, not addressing local rules like striper, patch, mandatory offenses, no motion, etc. You can have more than 7 linemen if you want on the line of scrimmage. That's perfectly legal, but for every extra lineman, you're going to lose an eligible receiver. So in this diagram, we're moving number 8 to the end. He's eligible because he's on the end. Number 7 is no longer eligible. Motion. You cannot motion an end. That's not legal. Ends can only go in motion if they shift to the backfield first and are 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. But at that point, they're no longer an end, but they're a back. If you start with 7 on the line of scrimmage and then send an end in motion, you now have 6 on the line of scrimmage, which is an illegal formation. If you start with 8 on the other hand and send him in motion, you still have 7 on the line of scrimmage, but he did not establish himself as a back, and now it's called illegal motion. Now, I think a possible source of this confusion in youth is how we've all been taught the positions: center, guard, tackle, tight end, right? Or is he? If we move the split end out there and cover the tight end becomes something else. We'll call him question mark. He's no longer a tight end because he's not on the end of the line of scrimmage. Now you can call Mr. Question Mark a power tackle or whatever, but it's not accurate at this point to call him a tight end because he is not on the end and therefore not an eligible receiver. Another place where things get wonky is when we move into trips and quads. Won't talk about quads today, but trips typically refers to a formation that has 3 eligible receivers on one side. If you do the math, you can only have one end on each side, whether he's tight or split. In this case, the guy on the left is a tight end, the guy on the right is a split end. This means that in any trips formation, 2 of the 3 eligible receivers must be backs. The guy on the left, number 1, he's eligible because he's on the end. But if we move him to the other side between the tackle and the split end, he's no longer eligible because he's not on the end. And this is what we refer to when we say he's covered, because he's quote unquote covered by the split end. He becomes red, and number 2 on the left becomes eligible in green because he's on the left end. Covering the tight end is only prohibited in the NFL and not under high school rules. Only eligible receivers can go downfield, which is more than a yard, on a forward pass play, and that's a play where the ball crosses the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, it's ineligible downfield. Then only eligible receivers can be the first offensive player to touch a forward pass. Otherwise, it's illegal touching. Neither rule applies if the ball never crosses the line of scrimmage, like on a screen pass. Any player, whether they're eligible or not, may be the first to touch a backward pass, like a lateral or a backward screen pass. If you like what you saw, like, subscribe, and please drop a question or comment below.